Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. This month brings us Countermeasures Series 3. For those of you who don't know, and if you don't know, why don't you know? Countermeasures are the group that you saw in the last Sylvester McCoy Dalek story. The actors have all been brought back together. It's a 5-disc set, and to be honest, it's just plain marvellous. It's a soundtrack to a 60s programme that just never happened. And because we've embarked on a long trek through these stories, it's really nice to be given something so great. Now, again, I wanted to review these in the way that I reviewed Dark Eyes, but I would be giving away too many spoilers, and that's just something I'm not willing to do. Countermeasures Series 3, it's exceptionally good. Great payoffs from the first two series, continuations of the narrative, and in all fairness, when you're listening to these, you forget it wasn't its own series in its own right. So you've got people who exist as a special department within the government or outside of the government in order to investigate strange happenings. Perfectly fine. Disc 1, Changing of the Guard. It's a definite character piece for Toby. Toby's the guy who runs Countermeasures. He's the only person who wasn't in the original TV series. Now he's played by Hugh Ross. Again, you've got Simon Williams playing Group Captain Gilmore, Pamela Salem playing Rachel Jensen, and Karen Gedhill playing Alison Williams. In this first story, you have parallel storylines. You've got a very nice, down-to-earth investigation story dealing with the grubby underground criminals, as well as the parallel story where there's grubby government officials. All that needs to be dealt with before they can move on to what, for me, is an exceptionally atmospheric piece of drama, being The Concrete Cage. Now, they needed a sort of, how can I put this, business as usual story for the whole team in order to get everyone back up and running. Well, this is set in a massive tower block, because what they've done is they've made the big list of things that are a bit 60s and just worked their way methodically through them. The building of the tower block is a definite English thing, seen in episodes of Avengers and Our Friends in the North. It's also a ghost story, and something that's just glorious to listen to. It definitely sounds, and this is just odd, that Michael Troughton is in this, but I can't find any reference to it, so perhaps I'm merely imagining it. The third story is The Forgotten Village. Now, The Forgotten Village has a definite more of the darker Avengers feel to it. Something almost doom-watchy, borderline Quatermass. It's interesting to note that there's never been another mention of the British rocket group. Perhaps they're just not allowed. The Forgotten Village is, well, full of spoilers. There are some massively impressive performances in this, especially from Karen Gedhill. And of course the last story takes us to that most 60s of iconic places, Berlin, for some very impressive work with aliens. I can't recommend Countermeasures enough. And to be honest, if you don't already own them, start with Series 1 and work your way through. So until next time, be seeing you. On Saturday, August the 30th, at the Derby Inn Quad, Hooverville 6 will take place. Guests include Peter Davison, David Troughton, Michael Troughton making an exceptionally rare appearance together, producer Derek Sherwin, and musical maestro Dominic Glynn. Terry Davros Malloy and Deborah Watling, and Sinead Michael from Series 5 of Sarah Jane Adventures. And as always, a gaggle of podcasters and merchandise dealers' room. Tickets are priced between £10 and £40. Visit the Derby Quad website for more details and to order tickets.
This is the first session of the parliamentary inquiry into the intrusion countermeasures group. Sir Tobias Kinsella will be held to account.
Coming soon from Big Finish Productions. Countermeasures, Series 3.
No such thing as luck, Gilmore. We're all the fathers of our own fortune. Sometimes quite literally.
The whole place is on fire. They must be dropping incendiaries.
But who?
The Luftwaffe. This is the raid that destroyed the houses that were here.
No, can't you hear them? Ah! I felt the heat of that one, sir. We have to fight back. Take the battle to the enemy.
I will not make deals. I will not make promises.
Lying's like breathing to that man. He does it without thinking.
You're sending us into East Berlin. You're sending Rachel in.
I suppose I always knew there was going to be a risk. If I'd wanted a quiet life, I could have stayed at Cambridge.
What are you going to do to me?
He's wanted control of countermeasures from day one.
Stop your vehicle! Stop your vehicle or we'll shoot!
Big Finish. We love stories.
Call me Templeton.
You've been listening to the Tin Dog Podcast. Doctor Who and its connected properties are copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. To contact the show, email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. Whostrology, a Time Traveller's Almanac, is available through Telos Publishing or Amazon. Visit www.whostrology.com for further information. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.